On our 7th anniversary, I waited until the movie ended, but Justin Hayes never showed up. I watched the crowd leaving the theater, feeling the last flicker of hope inside me vanish. Just then, a sudden cheer erupted from the neighboring screening room. "Zoe Morgan, will you marry me?" The clear voice from the microphone sounded so much like Justin Hayes. Curious, I walked over to see what was happening. In front of the large screen, Justin Hayes was kneeling on one knee, holding a bouquet of roses, gazing at the girl in front of him with utter devotion. I didn't rush over to confront him. I didn't throw a hysterical fit like I used to. Instead, I calmly sent him a message: "Let's get a divorce." 7 years of marriage, full of mess and disappointment, sometimes it's better to just let go. By the time I returned home, it was already late at night. Exhausted, I sat at my desk and began researching the divorce process online. After all, after so many years of marriage, our finances and assets were intertwined. Divorce was never going to be simple. When I finished reading the final article in the Civil Code regarding divorce, Justin Hayes came home. He walked up to me, a trace of irritation on his face. "Mia Carter, you want a divorce just because I forgot to go to the movies with you? Are you insane?" I looked at Justin, dressed like a college student, and couldn't help but find it a bit ridiculous. The normally sharp, elite businessman, the CEO of Hayes Corp., was wearing clothes meant for someone half his age, just for Zoe Morgan. The sight struck me as absurd. I lifted my head and appraised him from head to toe. "Justin Hayes, you're not 20 anymore. You're 30. Only then did Justin realize his outfit didn't fit his age or his status. He shrugged off his jacket, his tone softening. "Honey, I really did forget about our movie date today. How about we go tomorrow? I'll book the tickets right now." He immediately pulled out his phone and started checking showtimes. I stared at his youthful profile, feeling a pang of disbelief. Ever since Zoe Morgan appeared, Justin had been forgetting our plans. It was as if his brain simply shut down whenever it came to me. I closed my laptop and said indifferently, "No need. I have to work late tomorrow." Perhaps my cold tone irritated him. His brows furrowed more tightly. "Mia Carter, I've already apologized. What more do you want from me?" I remained silent and handed him my phone. When Justin saw the photos on it, his body stiffened, and his face flushed bright red. Then he composed himself and pointed to the images awkwardly. "One of our junior staff asked me to do this. She said I look like her ex, and she wanted me to propose to her to make up for it. Don't read too much into it." Was that supposed to explain anything? Having said that, he sank back onto the sofa, closing his eyes, as if to show his patience had limits. I respected his unspoken wish and didn't press him further. I simply replied, went to the bedroom to rest. No sooner had I laid down than a message came through. "Sis, was the movie good today? CEO Hayes actually proposed to me today. Want to see?" Before I could reply, several photos flooded my phone. The angles were thorough. Even though I'd witnessed the proposal firsthand, the images stabbed at my heart like knives. Every intimate gesture between Justin Hayes and Zoe Morgan seemed to mock the years I'd invested in our marriage. In one photo, Zoe wore a massive diamond ring, its brilliance sparkling even in the dim theater lights. When I married Justin Hayes, he couldn't afford such luxuries for me. All he could offer was a hasty wedding and a promise. "Mia, one day I'll buy you a 10-carat diamond," he had said. Now he could easily afford it, but the diamond was on someone else's hand. Not long ago, I had seen a jewelry box in Justin's car. I'd secretly hoped it was a gift for me and had been thrilled for days. But it turned out it was the engagement ring he gave to Zoe Morgan. My heart burned with pain, and it took several deep breaths to steady myself. I traced the wedding band on my finger, its surface worn dull after years of wear, just like my marriage to Justin Hayes, both faded and dull. I removed the ring, a bitter smile tugging at my lips. The next morning, to my surprise, Justin Hayes made breakfast. He was in the kitchen, apron tied around his waist, carefully frying eggs. The morning sunlight fell warmly across his face, reminding me of the early days of our marriage. Seeing me, he greeted naturally, as if nothing had happened yesterday. I turned my gaze to the slightly faded table, realizing there was no turning back for us. Try this, I got the timing just right on the eggs today, he said. Justin removed his apron and sat beside me. In the past, I had to schedule meals with Justin days in advance. Today he had taken the initiative to cook for me. It was clearly an olive branch. If it had been in the past, I would have reacted frantically, my words tumbling out in a jumble. But now, I had no appetite for it. I'm not eating. I woke up late, and I still need to catch the subway. I grabbed my bag and headed for the door. Justin Hayes caught my hand. I'll drive you today. I didn't refuse. I slid into the back seat as usual, only to find that the front passenger seat had been completely taken over by pink. From the seat covers to the floor mats, everything was decorated in cute, girlish pink. On the dashboard, a sign read, "Reserved for the little princess." Justin Hayes looked a bit embarrassed and quickly explained, "I forgot to clear it up. Zoe set all this up. Little girls like cute, sparkly things." So the front seat of Justin's car was actually usable. Before, he had never let me sit there. Whenever I asked, he would brush me off with some excuse about safety, and back then I thought he was being considerate. Now, seeing the pink decorations, I only felt ridiculous. Love really does make people lose their judgment, I thought, blinding you to everything, glossing over flaws. I didn't say much, only replied, "Oh, it's cute." Justin Hayes' expression darkened instantly. He pressed the gas, and the car shot forward. At the company, after handling work matters, I immediately began contacting a lawyer. By the end of the day, the divorce agreement was sitting on my phone. I tried calling Justin Hayes to talk about the divorce. But when the call connected, a soft, girlish voice came through instead. "Hello, this is Zoe. CEO Hayes is in a meeting. Can I take a message?" My breath caught. Justin Hayes' phone had always been off limits. Once, when my phone died and I tried to use his to check directions, he had been furious, accusing me of invading his privacy. And now, he let Zoe Morgan hold his phone. A bitter taste rose in my mouth. His so-called principles and boundaries had apparently only ever applied to me. I said coldly, "Never mind." Just as I was about to hang up, Zoe's voice suddenly turned sharp. "Mia Carter, at your age, clinging to Justin Hayes. You feel ashamed? He's long been tired of an old hack like you. You'd better know your place and step aside." I had always considered myself dignified, but apparently that just gave her the audacity to attack. I could no longer hold back. "You're young now, and yes, being a mistress has some value for someone like you. But you'd better calculate how many years you have left, and what you're worth. Don't end up like me, old, worthless, with nothing to show for it." I could hear her breathing hard on the other end. She was clearly riled up. Through clenched teeth, Zoe managed, "Only the unloved are." I cut the call before she could finish. I didn't want to waste another word on someone like her. I walked out of the company in a daze, feeling nothing but frustration. The bustling city night behind me felt unfamiliar, alien somehow. I wandered aimlessly along the streets, as if separated from the world by a thin, invisible barrier. I remembered long ago, when Justin Hayes used to hold my hand on these streets. He had looked nervous, as if he were handling a priceless treasure. He would point casually at buildings, eyes burning with determination. "Mia, this city will carve out our place here." He hadn't betrayed that dream. We had secured our footing, bought a car, a house. But the warmth of that love had long since dissipated. The river breeze was crisp and refreshing. I closed my eyes and reached out my arms to feel the wind. The next moment, the strong hand pulled me back, and I stumbled instinctively. "Miss, even if you're feeling down, you can't do something rash like that." I turned to see a man in a police uniform, worry etched across his face. "Officer, no, I'm not suicidal. I tried to explain. I've seen plenty like you. Broken hearts, debts. Dying doesn't solve anything. Only cowards run from life." Before I could finish, the tall man began lecturing me with a string of advice. I quickly apologized and tried to leave. He held me back. Don't go. Give me your family's number so they can come get you. I almost said I had no family, but worried he'd misunderstand. Reluctantly, I gave him Justin Hayes' number. When the call connected, Justin's irritated voice came through. Mia Carter, what are you doing? Embarrassing a young girl like this? Apologize immediately. Evan, the officer, froze visibly. He glanced at me before saying, are you her husband? She's not in a stable state, please come get her. Justin Hayes was shocked. Who are you? How do you have my wife's phone? I'm the officer on duty. Your wife tried to harm herself. You two should talk things through, come pick her up. Justin's coughed coldly. So now you're playing tricks too, huh? Pretending to be a cop just to make me jealous. If you want to die, go ahead. I won't stop you. Then he hung up, leaving only the dial tone. Is your husband sick or something? He actually said I was pretending to be a cop. I drew in a cold breath and blinked back, the tears threatening to spill from my eyes. I'm sorry, Officer Evan, for making you witness all this. Don't worry, I won't do anything foolish. I didn't want anyone to see me like this, so I turned and started to walk away. Wait, I'll take you home. Before I could refuse, he had me seated in the police car. On the drive, Evan Turner questioned me relentlessly. Overwhelmed by a mix of frustration and sorrow, I poured out everything that had been weighing on my heart. When we reached my apartment complex, Evan watched me get out and handed me a number. This is my phone. Call me anytime if things get too much. If you really can't handle it, just leave, there's no need to torture yourself. I nodded. Thank you, Officer Evan. It had been a misunderstanding, yet at this moment, his concern felt genuine. When I got home, Justin Hayes was sitting in the living room, radiating anger, and next to him was Zoe Morgan. You were trying to kill yourself, weren't you? How dare you come back? As I walked in, Justin's narrow eyes glanced at me with disdain, amusement playing on his lips. Zoe Morgan, playing the innocent card, said softly, maybe she overreacted. She just had a moment of weakness. At least she's back safely now. Justin patted Zoe's hand. If she were as considerate as you, I wouldn't have to be so stressed out every day. Was I nothing more than a prop in their little game? The audacity of the two of them made the air in the room feel toxic. I turned to leave, but Justin grabbed my arm. Where do you think you're going? You haven't apologized to Zoe yet. How dare you call her a mistress? That's defaming her character. I laughed bitterly. They had already crossed every line, of course she was a mistress. Zoe Morgan stepped forward, her big watery eyes looking pitiful, her voice quivering. CEO Hayes, I really didn't expect her to say that. Maybe I got too close to you. It's my fault. I raised my hand and slapped her. Zoe Morgan's fair skin immediately turned red and swollen. Mia Carter, how dare you hit Zoe? I hit her because she's shameless and ill-mannered. Today, I'm teaching her a lesson she should have learned from her mother. Zoe covered her face, unable to speak, as thick tears rolled down. Justin Hayes wrapped her in his arms, shouting at me, you shrew, you're out of control. I'm divorcing you. Hearing the word divorce, Zoe's tear-filled eyes suddenly lit up. Seeing that I didn't react, Justin paused, then spoke almost as if granting a favor. You apologize to Zoe today, and maybe we can work things out. Otherwise, don't blame me for not valuing the years we've shared. Years we've shared? What years were there left to value? Divorce fine. It saved me the trouble of wasting words. I pulled the divorce agreement from my bag and tossed it at Justin. He bent down to pick up the papers, staring at them on the floor. After a few stunned seconds, he looked up at me in disbelief. Mia Carter, are you serious? I ignored him, went into the bedroom, and pulled out the suitcase I had packed in advance. Sign it if you're ready, I said, then pushed the door open and walked out. Justin recovered and chased after me. Mia Carter, stop this. It's just a small incident. Do we really need a divorce? Why don't you and Zoe just shake hands and forget this ever happened? Everyone steps back a bit. I couldn't believe he could say something so nauseating. I stared at Justin's still handsome face and questioned what I had ever seen in him. Perhaps over the years, he had become someone I no longer recognized. My own tolerance and patience had allowed him to become so unrestrained. He believed that if he bowed his head, I would return to him without a single objection. I pulled my hand free from his and said coldly, "Justin Hayes, do you know how repulsive you are right now? We're done." Justin still didn't give up. His brow furrowed, but his voice softened. "Mia Carter, just consider it my mistake, all right? You weren't like this before." I had been too weak back then, which was why he had always controlled me. I lifted my head, my eyes now dimmed. "Justin Hayes, I don't love you anymore." Justin's hands trembled slightly. He opened his mouth to speak, but Zoe Morgan's voice came from behind him. "CEO Hayes, I'm feeling a little unwell, I need to throw up." Zoe placed one hand on her stomach, the other on her chest, her expression coy. Justin instinctively turned to support her. "What's wrong? Are you okay?" The cold wind blew, making me shiver. I tightened my grip on my suitcase and walked out of the complex. I had intended to have a proper conversation with Justin about the divorce tonight, but events had spiraled far beyond my expectations. I hadn't even arranged a place to stay for the night, so I planned to find a hotel to get through the evening. Just as I stepped out, I saw a familiar figure. Evan Turner, out of uniform, still tall and upright, wearing a simple white t-shirt. He looked like a freshly graduated college student. Seeing me come out, Evan Turner jogged over. "What are you doing out here?" I asked, puzzled. "My place is nearby." Even after I got home, I couldn't stop worrying, so I decided to come check on you. I tried calling a few times, but you didn't pick up. My phone had been in my bag the whole time, I had only just taken it out. Are all modern cops this responsible? Do they come with after-sales service too? I teased. Evan's eyes flickered with a faint, almost imperceptible embarrassment, and a subtle blush spread across his cheeks. "Cops are for the people. If something had really happened to you, I'd be responsible too." Evan took my suitcase from me in one smooth motion. He hesitated slightly, then asked, "Have you really decided to go through with the divorce?" I traced the faint groove left by years of wearing my ring before speaking slowly. "If someone can't stay, it's better to let go. Even if we try to force it, all we'd feel is mutual resentment." Evan gave me a meaningful look. "Letting go in time is also a way to stop the loss." "I support you. So where are you staying tonight? I can take you." "I don't know yet. I'll find a hotel for now, and tomorrow I'll look for a place to rent." Divorce wasn't that simple, I had to plan ahead for myself. "Perfect. My family owns several apartments that aren't rented out yet. You could rent one from me. Nice environment, good location, and close to your work." I tilted my head to look at him. The streetlight illuminated him, giving off a warmth that made me feel safe. "So you're a second-generation rich kid too? Never would have guessed. People really can't be judged by appearances," I joked. Evan frowned slightly. "You think all cops are poor? True, who said wealthy people couldn't become police officers?" The next day, I moved into Evan's apartment. It wasn't big, but perfect for just one person. After settling in, Evan took me out to buy some daily necessities. Despite knowing me for less than 2 days, he treated me like an old friend, attentive in every little detail. I couldn't help but wonder what he wanted in return. Money? Impossible, he was a rich heir. Romance? Also unlikely, I was 30, not exactly young. Thinking it over, maybe it was the sense of satisfaction from helping someone. That was the only explanation. Evan held a plate up in front of me, wiggling it playfully. "Hey, what do you think of this one?" I blinked, focusing, and took the plate to examine it. "Not bad. Good taste." Evan's face lit up with pride. He moved through the supermarket, picking things with renewed energy. I grabbed a nice frying pan and was about to call him over, when Justin Hayes appeared, Zoe Morgan at his side. They were leisurely pushing a cart through the aisles, laughing and chatting. Once, I had imagined strolling through a supermarket like that with Justin. In my mind, shopping with someone you love is peaceful and happy. But Justin had always refused to go with me. "I'm already exhausted from work during the week. I don't want to go out on weekends. If you want to shop, go by yourself, he had said. So it wasn't that he disliked shopping, he just didn't want to go out with me. I tried to avert my gaze and steer my cart away. Justin came over and pressed his hand on my cart, his tone sharp. Mia Carter, where were you yesterday? I called and you didn't answer. I put the pen down without looking up. Where I went is none of your business. If you have time, you might as well sign the divorce papers. Hearing the commotion, Evan stepped beside me, pointing at Justin. So this is your careless husband? Zoe Morgan couldn't resist adding fuel. CO Hayes, I told you, right? She's fine, look at her. Huh? Who's this man? No wonder she wants a divorce, she's already involved with someone else. Zoe covered her mouth, giggling like she'd discovered juicy gossip. Justin's fists clenched when he saw Evan. Who the hell are you? Why are you with my wife? Keep your distance if you know what's good for you. Evan didn't get angry. Instead, a faint, cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. So yesterday you said I was a fake cop? He held up his badge, letting both of them see it, and said sharply, take a good look. This is my ID. Justin finally realized his misunderstanding from the day before. He pressed his lips together, looking a bit embarrassed. Sorry, officer. That was my mistake yesterday. Glancing at me, he added, there was some misunderstanding between my wife and me. She ran off yesterday, and I was bringing her back home. Evan raised an eyebrow, teasing. She's your wife? Then who's that beside you? Justin's face turned crimson. She is my colleague from the company. Zoe Morgan, hearing Justin introduce her that way, almost couldn't hold it in. Big brother, you didn't say that yesterday. You clearly said I was your. Justin cut her off, sternly. Stop talking nonsense. He came over and took my hand gently. Wife, it's my fault. Let's go home. Zoe, fuming, clung to Justin, sobbing. Brother, I'm serious about you. She's already mixing with another man. She doesn't love you anymore. Evan's face darkened. Miss, I suggest you watch your mouth. Falsely accusing a police officer is a crime. Zoe shrank back, afraid to speak. Justin shook her off. You caused all this. Get out of here. Tomorrow, go to HR, settle your wages, and leave. Zoe hadn't expected Justin to be so ruthless. Crying, she stormed out of the supermarket. As expected, Justin Hayes was still the same mad. I knew once his interests were at stake, he could discard anyone without a second thought. I felt tired. I had no interest in watching this melodrama unfold any further. Evan, we've finished shopping. Let's go. Justin Hayes wanted to come over and argue, but Evan Turner's sharp look made him hesitate. Truly a fallen age, I muttered. CO Hayes, maybe you should tend to your harem first before embarrassing yourself here. Evan and I walked out of the supermarket, loading the bags into the car. I didn't expect your soon-to-be ex-husband to be such a person. Truly a rare kind of trash, Evan said indignantly. I smiled wryly. This kind of trash, I had once cherished. Now that I'd walked away, I realized he was worthless. Let's not talk about him anymore, it's nauseating. In return for your help today, I'll cook dinner for you tonight, I said. Evan's expression brightened. Perfect, I'm hungry anyway. After dinner, we chatted casually. Evan asked about my plans after the divorce. I took a slow sip of tea and said, I'll live my life well. And I mean really well. Although I hadn't yet officially divorced Justin Hayes, in my heart, it was already over. The meal had filled my stomach, and somehow, even the emptiness in my heart felt lighter. Evan looked at me steadily, an emotion flickering in his eyes that I couldn't quite decipher. A few days later, the company issued an overseas assignment notice. I was the first to volunteer. Julia Reed, a colleague, leaned over. Mia, you never go abroad, you even avoid business trips. What made you change your mind? I smiled. I just decided to. I finally understand. For a woman, pursuing a career is what matters most. Justin Hayes hadn't contacted me in days. Before leaving, I needed to finalize the divorce. I called him several times, but couldn't get through. I knew he was stalling, hoping that cold treatment would make me relent. Divorce was too much of a loss for him. Then Zoe Morgan found me. I looked at the prenatal report she held, keeping my expression neutral. You're pregnant. If you're not going to Justin Hayes, why come to me? Zoe wiped away her tears. He refuses to see me. He even fired me. I sipped my coffee and asked lightly, so what exactly do you want me to do about it? She straightened her posture, determination in her eyes. I want to marry him. I want to have this baby. I raised an eyebrow. But right now, it's not that I don't want the divorce, it's that Justin Hayes doesn't want one. Zoe stared at me, refusing to leave any possibility unexplored. Mia Carter, you have a way, right? I had to admit this woman was no ordinary person. I actually wanted to help her. That same day, I sent Justin Hayes Zoe's prenatal report. Within minutes, he messaged Dee to arrange a meeting. The CIF was dimly lit, soft music drifting through the air, as if time itself had paused. Justin Hayes had chosen a place I knew well, a CIF we frequented during our dating days. It had been a long time since I'd been here, and I was surprised it was still open. Seeing me, Justin quickly rose to pull out a chair and instructed the waiter to bring my favorite cappuccino. Every gesture was as smooth and practiced as it had been back then. Mia Carter, can we talk? I feel like we shouldn't have ended up like this, he said, still clinging to some hope. I looked at him with disdain. Justin Hayes, there's nothing left to talk about. Talk about what? How you've ignored me all these years. Or maybe how you got involved with Zoe Morgan, even having a child with her, I shot back. Justin's expression darkened, and he looked down, unable to meet my eyes. After a long pause he said cautiously, that night I was drunk. It was an accident. I didn't mean anything else. If you want, I can give her money to terminate the pregnancy. His words didn't stir a single emotion in me. But I won't. My life isn't a recycling bin, I don't take back trash. Don't cling to me like some stray dog. Justin's eyes dimmed, but he tried one last time, holding my hand, his voice pleading. Mia Carter, I really love you. Please don't leave me. I withdrew my hand, wiping it with a tissue. Justin Hayes, you don't love me. You only crave the tolerance, warmth, and love I gave you. In short, you're selfish. His hand fell limply. I placed the freshly printed divorce papers in front of him. Sign. Once it's done, we go our separate ways. A bitter smile tugged at Justin's lips. What if I don't sign? If I remember correctly, your company is about to go public. I doubt you want a scandal to surface before the IPO. Having shared his bed for years, I knew exactly where his weakness lay. The company was his life. Taking it public was his greatest dream. Justin no longer resisted. He picked up a pen and signed. The divorce proceeded smoothly. The day I received the divorce certificate, my visa was approved. Excited, I shared both pieces of good news with Evan Turner. I'm glad you found a fresh start, Mia Carter. Congratulations, he said. Yet, I caught a hint of loss in his dark eyes. Evan, you don't seem entirely happy. Something bothering you? He shrugged, shoulders drooping slightly, eyes glistening. No, it's just that you're leaving the country. I don't know if I'll get to see you again. I patted his shoulder, teasing him lightly. I'm only going abroad, not dead. How could you not see me again? Evan Turner turned his face away, his expression serious. Don't say such unlucky things. I laughed. Even police officers are superstitious? It's not superstition. I care. You're someone I care about, and I don't want anything to happen to you. Was this a confession? I shook my head quickly. How could a newly divorced woman like me be worthy of a young, accomplished police officer? Evan, you're not getting any younger. When I leave the country, find a girlfriend and have a kid. Otherwise, who will inherit your fortune? I admonished him like an older sister. Suddenly, Evan pulled me into his arms. Mia Carter, I'm really afraid of losing you. Can you please not push me away? My head nearly exploded just after my divorce, and now a confession. What kind of drama was this? I pushed him away, my heart racing. Evan, you know I just got divorced, right? I know. I'm already 30, you know that too. I know. And yet you still like me, have you lost your mind? Evan's gaze was gentle, unwavering, almost melting me. I felt nervous under his naked sincerity. Mia Carter, even if you don't accept me, it's okay. I'll wait for you to come back. I lowered my head shyly. Who says I won't accept you? Evan's face lit up as if granted a special pardon. He scooped me up and spun me around 3 times. Huh. The energy of youth was impressive. That night, Evan chattered endlessly. At first he thought I was just a heartbroken, pitiable woman, and he simply wanted to help. But he gradually realized that I was someone strong-minded, able to cut losses in time, and he found himself deeply attracted to me. I looked at him softly. You're right. If one day you stop liking me, I'll know when to let go too. Evan kissed my forehead. I won't give you that chance. By the way, if I hadn't shown up that day, would you really have jumped into the river? Does that make me your hero? I teased, glancing at his smug face. I decided not to tell him the truth. Before leaving the country, Zoe Morgan sent me a photo of her and Justin Hayes. They were cuddled together, picking out clothes for the unborn child. As expected, Justin Hayes had fully acknowledged her and the baby. That scumbag and that gold digger really were made for each other. I blocked Zoe Morgan, losing all interest in their affairs. During my 2-year overseas assignment, my position climbed significantly. Sitting in my spacious office, I looked out over the city from the floor-to-ceiling windows. As expected, the view was far better from above. My assistant knocked and handed me a large bouquet of roses. Ms. Carter, these are for you. I took the flowers and read the small card. Congratulations to my beloved queen on returning home. It was signed, Evan Erner. My heart felt like it had been filled with honey so sweet. Evan Erner had reserved the finest hotel in City A to welcome me back. 2 years apart had tanned his skin, giving him the air of a mature man. He strode over and wrapped me in his arms. The scent of fresh grass clung to him, and I felt like I could soar. After dinner was served, Evan suddenly knelt before me, holding a large diamond ring. Mia Carter, will you marry me? I looked at the sincerity in his eyes and nodded firmly. The happiness that had once left me had finally returned. Life after marrying Evan Turner was steady and beautiful. Evan was busy with work, often out on long field assignments. One day, I asked if he had been working on a major case. He told me Justin Hayes had been arrested. He had killed Zoe Morgan. After I left, Justin's company had failed to go public. Auditors found tax evasion and financial discrepancies, and the IPO was rejected. Justin was deeply frustrated. Meanwhile, Zoe's child was born, diverting his attention. But the child had a severe genetic disorder requiring expensive treatment. Justin devoted himself entirely to the child, but a genetic test revealed the child wasn't his. He refused further treatment, and the child died. He then drove Zoe Morgan away. Accustomed to luxury, Zoe couldn't accept the sudden fall. She sold Justin's company secrets to competitors. Within 2 years, his once promising unicorn company went into bankruptcy. Justin tracked Zoe down and brutally punished her. The crime scene was gruesome. Listening to Evan's account left me stunned, but in retrospect, it all made sense. 7 years with Justin Hayes, and we never conceived. My medical exams were all normal. The only possibility was Justin himself. He had always avoided checkups. When Zoe appeared, I suspected the child might not be his. In a sense, that child had become my parting gift to Justin Hayes. And I hadn't misjudged. I hugged Evan, teasing, "Oh husband, that was so gruesome, I'm scared." He held me close. "Don't be scared. I'm here." I looked out the window, smiling. This time, the victor was unmistakably me.